Good morning, grade 11. You have 3 chapters to do this week, 3, 4 and 5. I'm just going over quickly chapter 3 today. And before we go, let's have a look at these words. A mesh is a type of network in which a device transmits its own data as well as serves as a relay for other devices. A VPN is an encrypted connection over the internet from a device to a network. A GPS is a system of satellites, computers and receivers that allow land, sea and airborne users to determine the exact location, velocity and time 24 hours a day in all weather conditions anywhere in the world. Right, so let's have a look at what we've learned from grade 10, that networks are useful. Why? Share resources, organize information, connecting people, access to entertainment. But it can also expose us to network crimes, advertising, spam, cyberbullying and abuse. It also can be addictive and make it difficult to disconnect from technology, which will result in social isolation and depression. So, defining a network. What is a network? It's a connection of computers and devices to transmit information and share resources. Right, there was another question there. 2 reasons why you need a network. Grants access to the internet, allows business and people to conduct successful daily lives, and we know all the others. And I've just talked about the cyberbullying and the network crimes. So, which network is suitable for home? And give reasons. Well, the Wi-Fi, because it's more suitable for wireless network connections over a shorter distance. And we'll move on to the grade 11 content. Physical aspects of a network. So, here's a definition of a network. It's a group of 2 or more computing devices which are connected by medium, in other words, cables or not cables, allowing computers to communicate electronically. Every computing device in the network is referred to as a node. And we can exchange data between the nodes using a connection media. A media is the cable or the wireless. So here is our different types of wireless media. We have Wi-Fi, which refers to wireless LANs connecting computer devices for LANs. And it's over a short range, 20 meters. Radio signals communicating through wireless access points. And then we have WiMAX, which stands for Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. For long-range wireless networks for both mobile and fixed connections. Obviously the speed gets slower as the distance to the transmitter gets longer. It's flexible and low in cost and can be installed quicker than other internet technologies because it uses shorter towers and less cabling. Then 4G LTE, 4G 4th generation, and then LTE stands for long-term evolution. Wireless broadband technology to support roaming internet access by cell phones and other handheld devices. And then we have 5G, which is 5th generation mobile technology. So it's not a replacement for 4G, so you will find LTE, 4G and 5G working together. 5G just has improved speed over LTE. So data transmission, supported by various means of hardware, media and devices in a specific layout. So 2 types of networks and 3 types of media. Wired networks use twisted pair or UTP, unshielded twisted pair. It's unshielded twisted pair, it's copper cables, or fiber optic cables. That is our transmission, the main ones for wired networks. Wireless networks consist of transmitters and receivers, and the nodes are connected wirelessly to those transmitters and receivers. Home area networks are often wireless local area networks, WLAN. That's the home area networks, often use that. And the media for these are two, radio waves and infrared. Media being the channel, like imagine it's an invisible cable. So the medias are your channels for the data to flow through. For wired networks, we had unshielded twisted pair and fiber optic cables. And for wireless networks, we have radio waves or infrared waves. So here's some nice pictures. The fiber optic cables have to become carefully packaged in a sheath, and then the UTPs, those RJ45 cables that plug into the switch. Telephone lines also use UTP, unshielded twisted pair, but they are smaller, thinner cables. Right, now we're talking about the physical layout of a network. We talk that is called the topology. It's the way the devices are arranged. It's like a diagram. You would plan how your computers are going to be connected. And the star topology is the most common one. It's the physical structure of a network in which workstations are connected through the actual cables that transmit data. In a star, you have a central node called a switch. There's a switch. And what's good about this one, so you have all the computers connected to one single switch. If one of the devices is down, the switch, the network is still fine. But if the switch fails, then the network is unusable, obviously. So you can add computers to the network, but if the switch goes down, then there's a problem. All right. Now, talking about the physical limitations of a network, obviously bandwidth. An internet connection, for instance, with a high bandwidth such as 100 megabits per second can download a large file quickly, or a low bandwidth will be taking a much longer time. And of course you can also have user account access, to restrict user access to the network. And a user's account can have limitations on the time that they're available, the bandwidth, and their storage access on a network. Connection devices. So the most common one is our network interface card. It's called an Ethernet card, and it enables a device to connect to a cabled network. Your laptop or smartphone will have a built-in wireless network interface card, but basically the function is the same. It gives the address. It has the MAC address. Actually, can you see in the middle there? They call it a MAC address, will be etched onto the network card. And that MAC address is called the physical address, as opposed to an IP address, which is a logical address. In other words, like a software address, but the MAC address is a physical address which identifies that particular device, computer, or even cell phone. Yes, cell phones also have their own MAC address on their wireless NRC card. And those are etched into the network card itself and noted by the computer's operating system. And then the IP address is the address of your computer on a network. And that is, if you are in a LAN, like at school, your IP address of your computers are allocated to you via the software, the firewall software connected to the router. And then if you're on the internet, your IP address for your computer on the internet is allocated to your computer by the ISP, the internet service provider, like Telkom will allocate your computer to have a certain internet IP address, and then that will be connected to or linked to your MAC address on your computer, which is the physical address. Right, so the network interface card is very important because it enables the connection to your computer, from your computer to the network itself. And the Ethernet cable, in other words, RG45 cable, will be plugged into this socket over here on the network interface card. Okay, the other thing that you need to connect to a network is the modem, and that modem stands for modulate demodulate, in other words, converting digital signals to sound waves. So digital wave to a sound wave signal. So digital is on off and sound waves are like that. So basically, so that telephone lines can send them to the internet. So your modem does that. The switch is to connect many computers at the same wide internal network, direct traffic to the correct port. So all of your computers are, in the lab, for instance, are connected to a switch, and then the network is directed between each of the computers by the switch. Then the router is getting all the switches, like for instance, one room will have a switch with a whole lot of computers, then another computer lab will have its own switch with all those computers connected to it. But then those switches connect to a central router to connect eventually to a telephone line. And the routers can contain the modem, which the modulate demodulate converts a signal from digital to analog. Sorry, not sound waves, analog waves. My wording was incorrect there, but it's the same idea. Your modem will convert digital waves to analog waves so that the telephone line can understand it and can go off to the internet. So that's what the router will do. It will have a modem there, but if you don't have a router, you can just have a modem. So that will do that conversion from digital to analog. But the router will take all the switches, connects all the switches together. So in other words, all the LANs are connecting to a wide area network, and it can be wired and wireless all come together, and then you can get onto the internet. Right, so why is the star topology a popular choice? Let's go and look at that answer. I'm just going through some of the activities, okay? We're not going all of them because it's easy to connect, and they're all connected to one central switch. Easy to connect new devices. We did actually do that. We did go through that. And the topology is a physical structure of a network in which workstations are connected through cables that transmit data. So it's a physical structure. Now, most networks have star topology, but we're talking about PAN, HAN, and LAN. PAN stands for Personal Area Network. HAN stands for Home Area Network. LAN stands for Local Area Network, and WAN stands for Wide Area Network. So your Personal Area Network, you'll have a computer, smartphone, tablet, and your PDA, your Personal Digital Assistant. In your Home network, Home Area Network, you'll have all digital devices from mobile computers and phones, etc. Your VCR, your television, your security system, your printer, fax machine, and all of them connected together. With a LAN, you'll have a whole lot of computers connected by twisted pair coaxial cables or fiber optic cables. Remember twisted pair wire, unshielded twisted pair. Now the other one that we never talked about was coaxial cables. Those are the ones that will go up the walls of a building structures. They're not very bendable, but they will normally connect one room to another room, and there will be long cables that will go from the switch to a router. Then the fiber optic cables, you all know about that. Fiber is the new internet access activity. We use fiber optic cables nowadays for very fast internet access. And we saw a picture of that. A wide area network consists of network adapters, routers, modems, cables, telephone lines, routers and switches, all of those wonderful things. And then they have the capacity for each one for a personal network up to 8 devices. In other words, just you using it and all your things around you. And then the home area network can be 20 devices. A LAN can be up to 45 and a WAN up to 255 at a time. Right, so let's move on to this chapter, which is overview of network innovation. Right, now we're talking about mesh. What is a mesh? I spoke about that earlier at the beginning, but Google Wi-Fi and mesh wireless routers that instantly create great wireless networks like Google Wi-Fi, or car-to-car communication networks, driverless cars. These are all new technologies. And the ones that have been used and are worth using are the voice over IP, which is voice over internet protocol, VoIP, sorry, internet protocol, and then virtual private networks and location-based computing. We'll discuss those three quickly. VoIP, we know all about that, making calls over using your making calls from Skype, but that's old now. Making calls from WhatsApp and other communication apps. VoIP to VoIP calls and VoIP to phone calls. Well, VoIP to VoIP are usually made free, just like you use WhatsApp and Skype and FaceTime. And if you have fast internet connection, that's a great way to talk for free. You can even have multiple people, and there's an application called Discord that allows you to open a permanent chat room and voice chat with your friends. Once created, you can join the room from your computer, from your phone or your computer, and say, talk over your microphone to friends connected in the same room. But then we have calls made between a voice over IP and a phone. These are usually cost money, but they are cheaper than making a normal phone call. If you are able to make these phone calls directly from your computer, it can be more convenient. Skype allows you to do that. And there's others called Vox Telecom and InterXL. When talking about different types of networks, it's easy to get the words internet, intranet, and extranet confused. So those are the three terms we must worry about now. Internet is your global network of computers all around the world that share information, and that information is stored on the World Wide Web. So your internet allows the communication to occur. It's like a giant wide area network. But the actual information on the computers is your World Wide Web. There's only one internet in the world, and that is the internet that all computers share. Right, so in contrast to the internet, the intranet is a locked private network. We used to share information on a private network. For instance, like if you were at school and you only have a few computers and only those computers are connected privately and share files and have access to printers, etc. So it's a private network where you can share printers, folders, and applications, and share applications. That's an intranet. And then you have the word extranet, which is any network that combines an intranet with the internet. So basically you have your little intranet at school, but you want to connect to it from home. Then you use an extranet, which gives you secure connection to your intranet at school. and that is when you use what is that program again? Can't even remember. Anyway, companies build extranets so that employees can benefit of the intranet when they're not in the same space. So you basically connect from home and go to the intranet, the company's intranet. So you're able to go and access all the things that you're able to do at school with your personal little network. But you can connect to that personal network from home using the internet. And then of course you have usernames and passwords all secure. Right, now virtual private network. Virtual private network is computer connected that will be able to access private network resources shared on the network, including files, without physically being in the same area. It sounds a bit like an extranet, doesn't it? But were mostly used in the past. They were mostly used by companies to allow employees to connect to the internal networks from anywhere in the country, which is a bit like an extranet. A VPN is an extranet, but this was useful for employees working from home, etc., and working from a different office. And VPNs, but nowadays VPNs will allow people to access the internet anonymously and securely, no matter where they are in the world. And then you can log into an American server, and companies there will assume that you are in the USA. So if they say that a virtual private network is a computer connected to a VPN, and then can access all private network resources shared on the network, including printers, without physically being the same, that sounds just like an extranet. So a VPN is the same as an extranet. But nowadays people are using them to pretend that they are geographically in a different area. Originally it was used for people to work from home. Sorry, now we're going to go to location-based computing, LBC. Basically technologies that make use of geographical position to customize a user's experience. So components, your GPS system, a system of satellites, computers and receivers that allow land, and so on. A whole lot of things. That's the whole system. There is your definition over there. Read it. Communication network for data transfer. You need the actual network itself that you're in, like your internet or a home network or LAN or a WAN. Or service and application provider, other like Uber. Your data and content provider, like the maps and so on. Your mobile devices, and the actual person itself, you, the user. So there's many ways that we use location-based computing. Weather applications for your specific area, food ordering, car sharing like Uber. It's used all the time. So we have advantages and disadvantages of all of these things. So let's go and have a look at that table quickly. Oh my word. Okay, there it is. Okay, voice over IP. Disadvantages: it's lower cost, increased accessibility, complete portability, higher scalability, advanced features for small and large teams, clearer voice quality, supports multitasking, more flexible with soft phones. That is. VPN has enhanced security, remote control, share files, online anonymity, unblock websites and bypass filters, change the IP address, better performance, reduce costs. So it changes the IP address so they don't see that your computer's in one country and other countries think your computer's with them. Interesting. Better performance and reduced costs. It's VPN, that's for working online and going into your network at work. Location-based computing, building networks and partnerships, rewards and discounts, social connection, and analyzing competition. As advantages. Disadvantage of voice over IP: if you have a weak call quality or the call drops for no reason, and if there's latency on the line. Disadvantages of VPN: slow internet connection, blockades of VPN services, for instance Netflix. Illegal use of VPNs themselves: yes, that can be illegal unless if you're paying for one, then you know you're not actually doing anything illegal. But any free VPNs, you know it's illegal. Not knowing how strong the encryption provided your VPN is, your encryption, whether it's secure or not. Logging and potential reselling of your internet habits to third parties, connection breaks. Then location-based computing disadvantage: allow users to inadvertently share their whereabouts with stalkers and other criminals. And then companies can send targeted ads using location-based computing. All right. We all know about the examples. Now we have the internet and extranet. So we have the internet is used for web browsing. The intranet is a locked private network. And the extranet is for companies, in companies if they want the employees to get the benefits of their intranet when they're not in the physical space as that, if they're not in the office, so they can actually go work from home and get connected to the intranet into their locked private network at work. Right, now the advantages of the internet, we all know about that: selling, collaboration, donations, entertainment, banking, address mapping and contact information, connectivity, communication, sharing information, knowledge, learning. And then the intranet advantages: providing internal communication, connects your company across locations and time zones, helps employees find information. This is the intranet. Recognition and reward, sharing, knowledge sharing, reinforces your brand values, provides organizational clarity, simplifies employee when a new employee comes into the company. It makes it simple for them to introduce them to everything. Then extranet is increased productivity because people are working from home, reduced margin of error, flexibility, timely and accurate information, shorter time to market, reduced inventory, and build customer loyalty. That is your extranet. Disadvantages: so for the internet we have many: bullying, trolls, stalkers, violent images, addiction, time wasting, not disconnecting, identity theft, etc., spam, focus on patients, affect depression, loneliness, social isolation. And then for the intranet disadvantages: costly and timely implementation. Setting it up takes a long time. Complexity, heavy admin burden, poor user experience, low user adoption. People don't really want to use it. Intranet, time consuming information search, decreased employee productivity. These are all potential disadvantages. Okay. Internal use only, lack of employee advocacy. Then the extranet is expensive to implement and maintain. Security of extranets can be a concern when hosting valuable or proprietary information. So that's that, and you must go and do the quiz now. And by the way, you do the quiz, you've got 3 quizzes to do, so time yourself, space yourself.